Hi future pilots, and welcome to my first video on how to get your Category 1 medical. There's a lot of steps and a lot of things that you gotta know when you get into this industry, and I'm here to help you out. So in this video, we'll be exploring the differences between the Category 1 and the Category 3 medical, what are the steps you'll need to be taking in order to attain your medical, and some pieces of advice that I've collected along the way in my own journey. So let's dive into this video. So what is the difference between the Category 1 and the Category 3 medical? Well, the Category 1 medical is for your CPL or the Commercial Pilot's License, and your Category 3 medical is required for your PPL or your Private Pilot's License. So once you apply for your Civil Aviation Medical Certificate and get it in your hands, what you're going to have first is your Category 1 medical. The Category 1, or the Cat 1 for short, will expire exactly 1 year after you have applied for it, and you will have left in your hands the Category 3. And that's okay. You need the Category 3 for your PPL. But make sure you check in with your ground school or your flying school to see what they prefer. Some schools would prefer that you have your Category 1 right when you enter, just for logistical purposes. But once you've finishing up that PPL, make sure you apply for the renewal process in order to get that Cat 1 in order to proceed and work with your CPL license. So what are the steps in order to apply for this medical certificate? Number 1, check the Transport Canada website to see what clinics are near you. Depending on your location, you might need to drive a little bit more further in order to get to the civil aviation physician, or lucky enough, it's really close to you. So check the TC website, which I've linked down below, in order to see which clinics are near you. Number 2, call the clinic well before you need your medical certificate, almost 6 months in advance, so that you can schedule your appointment. Transport Canada takes quite a bit of time when it comes to processing this paperwork, so you're going to have to budget for the time accordingly, call the clinic, and schedule an appointment to get your certificate and your paperwork in the works. Number 3, go for the appointment and play the waiting game. Once you go in for your appointment, the clinic's going to ask all those baseline questions. You're going to be taking a vision test, they're going to be doing an auditory test, and a couple more tests. All these things are essential to make sure that you're fit to becoming a pilot and everything's safe before you proceed into actually, handling an aircraft. So these questions are necessary. But once that appointment is done, you got to play the waiting game. It's going to take several months before TC actually mails you your certificate and you have it physically in your hands. So make sure you go in for the appointment prepared, and all your questions are clarified with the physician and at the clinic itself before you head out, because the paperwork takes quite some time. So to recap, there's 3 steps that you need to take when it comes to getting your medical certificate. Number 1, you need to check the TC or the Transport Canada website to see what clinics are near you. You might have to drive a bit farther for the clinic, or lucky enough, it's close to you. Number 2, call the clinic to schedule an appointment to go through your medical process. And you got to do this at least 6 months before you actually go into your ground school or flying school to start your student pilot journey. Transport Canada takes a long time with the papers. Trust me on that. And number 3, go for the appointment and play the waiting game. It's going to be hectic, it's going to be a little frustrating because nobody's going to answer your emails, but you got to wait and it'll arrive in the mail. And once it does arrive in the mail, you got to keep that medical certificate on you at all times and hand it in to your ground school when they ask you to. So the second question I often hear is, how do I renew my medical? Well, I believe that there's technically only one way to go about this the easiest, and that's going to be calling your clinic that you initially got your medical done at. So you want to call the clinic, let them know that you want to renew your medical, that you just did it a year ago at the clinic or however long it was, and that you would like to renew it. They're going to ask you to come in, ask you those few baseline questions that you asked at your initial medical certificate process. You're going to pay a specific fee, probably in cash again, and then you'll be on your way. You'll get that certificate in about a month or 2 at least. So once again, you want to be strategic, do this ahead of time, and be prepared. So that's all I have for you guys today on how to get your category 1 medical. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to answer it. If you have any more ideas or any sort of things that you want to see further on this channel, please leave a comment on that below as well. And as always, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. I'll see you next time, future pilots.